Hi everyone. It's happened again. It's every time. Yet another bombshell Russiagate story is proven false. And I love that picture, by the way. This story is about Donald Trump Jr. on this occasion. I love that picture, how he's coming out of the meeting with the Committee on Intelligence. You can see there it's written on the wall. And I'm sure the Committee on Intelligence concluded at the end of that meeting that, Donald Trump Jr. has none. So this is the story. It's from RT. Oh dear Gordon, don't use RT. You'll have to register as a foreign agent. Leave it to CNN. Critics blast NPR for fake bombshell on Trump Jr. lying to Senate. A much-quoted NPR story about Donald Trump Jr., Michael Cohen, and talks to build a Trump Tower in Moscow during the 2016 election campaign was shown to be factually wrong, but NPR has not retracted it yet. I dare say they never will. Amid the wave of end for Trump media euphoria that followed Thursday's guilty plea by Cohen, who had been President Donald Trump's former personal attorney, NPR ran a story about how Trump Jr.'s testimony in 2017 did not square with Cohen's admissions to a federal court, namely that discussions on the Trump Tower project with developer Felix Sater went on as late as June 2016. Trump Jr. testified that those talks concluded without results at the end of 2014. Certainly not 16, according to the article authored by Phil Ewing and Tim Mack. It did not take long for the champions of the Russiagate conspiracy theory to invoke the story as proof of President Trump's Kremlin ties, and this happens every time. An article will come out with the latest bombshell, and usually it will be either anonymously sourced or they won't have any evidence at all. It spreads like wildfire in the mainstream and corporate media. And they all cite that article as the proof that it happened. They did it recently with the Guardian article on WikiLeaks and Julian Assange meeting Manafort. No sources in there. They just said sources say. And then all the other outlets in America, especially MSNBC, CNN, run it, and TYT, by the way, run it uncritically as if it's fact. And cite the source as being the Guardian article. But obviously that's a bullshit story and that's a bullshit narrative. And anybody with half a brain looking at that can see it. They can see it's a psyop. It's Luke Harding, for Christ's sake. But they run with it anyway, cite the story, and obviously when that story will be proven false, I mean, it's very easy. It would be very easy to prove that Julian Assange met with Manafort. That at the embassy as well. That area is, like I said in the video, covered with cameras. So you can see there, it did not take long for the Russiagate conspiracy theorists to all start shouting on Twitter. This is Eric Swalwell. A good lesson for all kids. The truth always comes out. Yes, it does, Eric. You're correct. Unfortunately, when the truth came out on this occasion, it proved that what you were cheerleading on was absolute bullshit. And then somebody said they're trouble for Trumps, and it turns out to be Michael McFaul. Follow that guy on Twitter. He's hilarious. They all make out that he's some sort of expert. He's wrong on everything. This article continues. There was just one tiny little problem with the NPR story. It wasn't true, of course. Worse, the transcript of Trump Jr.'s testimony proves it. All you had to do was read the transcript. As Molly Hemingway pointed out in a scathing piece in the Federalist, the quote Ewing used as proof of discrepancy was not referring to Cohen's talks with Sater at all, but entirely different talks with them. It was a different conversation. As one of the attorneys for Trump Jr. even explains in the very next lines of the transcript. It gets worse. After the discrepancy was pointed out, NPR added an editor's note to the article. Well, you'd think that was good, wouldn't you? These outlets very rarely do that, add editor's notes. The Guardian hasn't. They've changed that article for at least 2 times to my knowledge. No, 3 times to my knowledge. And the editor's note said it had mischaracterised Trump Jr.'s testimony, but that he nonetheless did not address Cohen's admission that the leaks about a Trump Tower deal were still ongoing in June 2016, except that's not true either. As Hemingway pointed out again, quoting the transcript, It's been reported that in late 2015 or 2016, when now President Trump was running for office, the Trump Organization was pursuing a plan to develop a massive Trump Tower in Moscow. Is that accurate? Answer, yes. So not only is the article wrong, but the editor's note at the end of the article is wrong as well. It's like a piss up in a brewery. They couldn't win it. They honestly couldn't win it. As Gabriel Malor points out here in that tweet, once you see the transcript, which NPR presumably had since they quoted from it, it's really, really hard to see how this happened. No, it's not, Gabriel. It's not hard to see how to see this happened, because the mainstream media have lost their ability to do their job. They're derelict in their duties now. It's plain to see. How many stories have these bombshell stories have we now seen that have come out to be blatantly false? How many? I wrote a book on Russiagate, published, February this year, and I quoted, I think, 11 instances of major stories that were debunked as untrue. That was in February. We've had at least that amount again this year. In fact, while I'm watching this video back, it will remind me to actually do another video on all the times that Russiagate stories have been proven untrue in the mainstream media. That'll be an interesting video. But, I mean, let's just give you a couple of examples. RT went on to mention one there. Russian hackers are said to have infiltrated US electric utilities. This was CNBC. No, they didn't. It was false. Totally true. Totally untrue. They didn't infiltrate US electric utilities at all. Overnight cybersecurity. Trump Jr. reportedly corresponded with WikiLeaks before election. This was in the Hill. Again, they might not have been the people to publish the story first. They're just quoting other people's stories as proof. That was totally untrue. They got the date wrong. Wasn't before, it was after. Get your facts straight. Obviously, that story's still up. No retraction on that story. Here's another one. I'm just giving you the highlights here. Just a few of the highlights. There are so many I could pick. There was this one when, if I remember right with this, Joy Behar was recording an episode of The View, which is like in America, it's like I suppose their version of Loose Women over in the UK. And in the middle of it, somebody in the background, out the back, brought her a note out, and she read it out, and the note said it was something like Michael Flynn has flipped on Trump and is going to testify that Trump had directed Flynn to talk to the Russians while he was part of the transition team. We've got him! We got him! And there were chants from the audience of lock him up! Lock him up! Day later, actually it might have been hours later, it turns out that was absolute BS. Not based in fact at all. None of it was true. CNN broke that story, if I remember, and they had to fire people as a result. That's just a few of the highlights. This is going to go on and on and on. They are going to keep doing this. I cannot see no end in sight. And you know what? The more I think about it, the more I think, you carry on, CNN. You carry on, MSNBC. You carry on, BBC. All of you, carry on. All of you. And I'm serious. Just carry on doing your bullshit. I'm not even going to ask you to do your jobs in future. Carry on doing your bullshit. Because the more you do it, the more people are realising that you're bullshit. And the more people are coming to shows like mine to get the facts. And how much of a damning indictment is that on how shitty your coverage of news has become? That people come to me, a guy in a flat in the UK who has nothing but an internet connection and some critical thinking skills in his head. They would rather come to me for their news because they know that they can trust me way more than any of these mainstream media outlets. What does that say about your shitty coverage of this? It's a damning indictment. You should be ashamed of yourselves, but like I say, you carry on. You just carry on because you're not going to find any evidence of this, I don't think. You're not going to find any evidence and you're going to look foolish. And by the time you actually realise the error of your ways, or it's all come out that it's all bollocks and, hey, it's proven to be all rubbish, this Russiagate stuff, it was all nonsense, there was nothing there. when you finally do commit that, when you finally do come out and admit that. My followers are probably in the millions. If you like this video and you want to see more, please subscribe and click the bell below so you get a notification of when I drop further videos. Independent voices like mine, I'm sure you're aware by now, are being censored across all social media platforms, so please like and comment on the videos. That really does help the channel out, and share the videos wherever you can to grow the audience. If you can, please support me on Patreon. You can do it for as little as $1 a month. I cannot do this without your help. I rely on your donations. Thanks very much for your support. It really is appreciated. Until next time, peace and take care.